On a related note, I'm Liz Glazer.
On a related note, this is a song that we wrote. Now let's get to the podcast.
You are listening to On a Related Note, where the world's most interesting people play a series of ridiculous games in order to uncover a secret code word. I'm Chris Riva.
And I'm John Franklin.
And John, who are we here with today?
We're here with a great comedian friend of mine, Liz Glazer. Liz,
Thanks.
you got a lot going on in your life right now, just from the jump. So I'm going to let you tell the people, give the elevator pitch about Liz Glazer.
Yeah, I mean, well, I used to be a law professor, and now I'm a stand-up comedian. That's usually in the elevator.
Yeah.
People are like, get me out of the elevator right away when I say that. But that's true. And so I guess the reason that's notable, a lot of people do leave law for comedy, you know? So that's not, I mean... That's whatever.
There's a lot of like funniest lawyer comedians.
Right.
Like,
I see. Do you know that
John
guy
Bramnick?
on the highway?
Yeah, I see him all the time.
We're in Jersey. I've never met him, but I'm like, is he though? I mean, maybe he's very funny because he also pays for ad space for his firm.
Yeah, and it's in the same billboard.
I know.
This is true?
Yeah,
yes.
He's a lawyer that pays for ad space for his law firm and for him to be advertised for his NJ Pack show.
Yes,
yeah.
It's like
Oh, he's that legit?
I thought it was Stress Factory, but maybe you're right.
I saw NJ Pack for one of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's opening for somebody, but I have no idea.
No. I mean, listen, I'm not here to step on
no judgment.
John Bramnick, but I just don't know him. But yeah, I know his ads.
Yes,
so he's good at that.
Like Celino and Barnes.
Yeah, they're great lawyers. So I don't know. But anyway, so that usually is like in, the first set of facts.
Right.
And then I recently came out with an album.
Yes.
The album is called A Very Particular Experience, and you can get it wherever you get like a song or whatever. Spotify, iTunes, Sirius, I don't know, wherever else. Bandcamp, I think. And I mean, well, I know Bandcamp, but whatever. Anyway. And that was mentioned in the New York Times.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, that's kind of a big moment. It's about grief and stillbirth. Because my wife and I experienced the stillbirth of our daughter, our first daughter, Leo Pearl of blessed memory. And also my dad died. And there's nothing so the album is about grief, kind of writ large. And I experienced grief of my dad, our daughter, Leo, and also our cat Mona. And I brought those all together in order to say something about the different types of grief, because one of the things that I found to be very confusing about stillbirth is that, and it's very sad and tragic, obviously, I think, certainly for us it was, but it's confusing because it's when my dad died, which was really sad, I knew why I missed him. Yeah. Whereas when we had a stillbirth, it's we were sad and it's this loss of hope, but it's we didn't know our daughter. She didn't live, but she did exist. And so I wanted to explore that. Yeah. And so, and when my dad died, I had jokes about my dad dying that I found at the time were hard to tell, but there's nothing like a stillbirth to make your dead dad jokes your lighter material. And so, anyway, so that those jokes and, bits, stories, whatever, came together on the album. That happened recently. The album was just released in May.
Right.
And then my wife and I are new moms to
yes,
our daughter.
congratulations.
Thank you, Eloise, who I was telling you is very cute. Not
Adorable
that it
child.
matters, but she is.
But you were telling us you have proof that she's cute.
Because I'm just saying, because you were saying, because you guys said, and again, not to do the podcast thing if we were talking off air. We talked off air for maybe 30 seconds, and then in the middle, I was like, oh my God, this is way too good a conversation for people who I only know through this podcast, essentially. I mean, not that we're not friends, but we will be friends. I have no doubt that we'll be friends forever, but we needed to turn it on.
Yes.
Right.
And so anyway, I was saying that my daughter is cute. And I say not that it matters because it shouldn't, right?
Right.
No.
Yeah,
Shouldn't matter.
Shouldn't matter.
Ugly people are people too.
Yes, exactly.
The most discriminated people against,
I had to pay. Wait, what'd you say?
I said the most discriminated people against.
Yeah,
ugly
well,
people.
there's attraction discrimination.
Yeah.
It's do you know that this is
this
an
is a
area
thing.
of legal scholarship?
Yeah, this is a thing.
Yeah, I can't remember. There was a woman who was at Stanford Law School, Deborah something, who wrote who wrote like a book about it. I can't remember now.
But it's like like an actual.
It's a thing.
People say
it's
it.
A thing.
It's like a thing.
Yeah.
So continue.
But anyway, so I was saying, well, first of all, I paid like $900 earlier today to adopt her, which like maybe I wouldn't have done if she wasn't cute. I mean, I'm not serious, but like.
No, but that's something we didn't think of. That you have to adopt your daughter effectively immediately.
Right. But that also is, I think, what you were getting at in terms of the proof, to the extent that there's proof. Because I said, well, I'm not biased.
Yes,
because
exactly.
she's, biologically, she's not mine. She's my wife and you, could be. I don't know. Have you ever donated sperm?
Not yet.
Okay, got it.
So not you.
Yeah,
but
not you.
Like, there's a chance. Like, you could be sitting in the room at any point in your life.
Probably some comedian.
Yeah, realistically.
My kid's father.
Yeah.
No, well, we know I believe the guy was a music grad student. I think because you have like baseball card facts.
Oh, really?
That's an elite.
Yeah.
That's an elite thing to be coming from.
I guess. I mean, we don't know what he did with it.
That's true. He might have been playing like the tuba.
Right. And like, maybe he was one of those who like goes to grad school. His parents have a lot of money, but he never like didn't. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No. Of course.
Right. But yeah, we don't know. So anyway, I was just saying she's cute. Okay.
And that's a win.
I mean, it's not bad. Right.
Yeah.
If you have a choice, cute or not cute,
you'll take the cute baby
for
every time.
Sure. And I'm doing, so my thing, so I got to get more social media followers. This is a thing I wanted to talk to you guys about.
Okay. Yes.
Because I have to do it, but I don't really, it's like I don't want to be like fake.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You still want your life to be and your personality to be involved.
And the reason that having a kid plays into it is I'm like, I got a kid and I got a cute kid.
Yeah.
So it's like, really, what I could do to get followers is just be like,
look at
this, but I won't do it.
Yeah.
Because, it's like, well, first of all, she's not my kid until the 900. But no, I'm kidding.
Until
the investment, yeah.
Right. But also, and for real, I'm like, well, it's kind of cheating. I don't want to do something.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Right.
Like in my opinion, it's like if your life is going to be on your social media, like you're not lying.
No, I know I'm not
there's
lying,
no cheating.
but I'm like exploiting someone who's not me.
Well, people have done a lot worse with that.
I know that. I know, but I have this thing where I'm like, because I was told I have to get more social media followers.
Presence following,
fine.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But so anyway, so now because I have like mom jokes, but I won't do mom jokes with the kid.
Sure.
Like
I hear what you're saying.
It's a line, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's a pride thing. Whatever. Not like Pride the month, but like Pride.
Well, we're in it, though.
Yeah.
To be fair. Yeah, happy Pride.
Thank you. Happy Pride.
Thank you.
Pride is for allies.
I'm walking to the parade.
Point. You are?
Yeah. I'm really excited about it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Hoboken?
No, New York in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really
with the circle?
No, it's with like my girlfriend is doing a thing where she's helping raise money for the AmFAR Society.
Okay.
And they invited us to walk in the parade with the AmFAR Society.
So nice. What is AmFAR?
They raise money and awareness for AIDS and HIV.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're doing like a whole event and things. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, AIDS and HIV awareness is really important. And I say that not for obvious reasons, but also because, so I'm 43 years old, which means when I was like knowing I was gay, okay, I was born in 1979. And so I was like a 10-year-old when AIDS was like.
I read this in an article that I read your quote about this.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I have AIDS because all the commercials were saying if you're gay, you have AIDS. And then all the commercials also were saying, and you have to tell people. And so I was like, well, I better start telling people. And so I asked a science teacher, I'm guessing this is what you read, who was my friend's mom.
Yes.
And I went to Orthodox school, like Jewish.
Okay.
And so they generally didn't say anything about sex, let alone gay sex.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I asked the science teacher, who was very compassionate in telling me, I was like, okay, how do gay people get AIDS? Because that's what all the commercials said.
Yeah.
And they were completely like homophobic and wrong.
And it was
but they were all
answer.
over TV.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And so she broke it down and told me, she's like, it's not about being gay. It's just about like, blood and fluids. And there's like a higher likelihood if you have this type of sex and whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm 10. I don't do that, like gay or not. So anyway, so now my wife and I rip each other's assholes apart. And we're fine, but no, I'm kidding. My wife is a rabbi. Please don't post that as a clip.
I won't. No, cut it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny, and I get that, but also it's like, literally that's her job. So
yeah,
I don't want to have her lose it. Because that's really where the $900 comes from.
Nice. Well, and I guess on that note, we'll tell you exactly what the podcast is.
Okay,
and deal with why you have a notebook in front of you and all that stuff.
Good.
Chris, you want to?
I just wrote code word colon.
Yes.
That's a good start.
So
better than most.
Today's code word or category is a person. And over these next 4 games you're going to play, you're going to have to try to figure out who that person is.
Okay. My daughter.
Good start.
You got it.
Okay,
Podcast is over. Thank you guys for listening. That was a beautiful episode, Liz.
Yep.
Where can they find you? That's it.
So all of these are strange games, somewhat creative, I think.
Yeah.
And you'll just see that every game is sort of going to be themed around something. And then when you look at the themes of all the games, you will hopefully be able to figure out who this person is.
Oh, cool.
You are that notebook we call the guest book. You can take notes as you go along. You'll see as you start playing. Your notes don't have to be that detailed, but you'll probably want to write a couple things down.
Okay.
Yeah, like you'll see themes and things like that.
We know you're an ex-law professor, so...
We're horribly not worried about you getting this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not that smart, though. That's a thing. Because, like, I believe this, which is, like, I don't know if you connect to this also, but, like, I feel like I have a lot of education, but I know nothing.
Oh, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Like, I don't... It's like I know how to trick an admissions officer to let me in.
The best education to have. The best smarts to have.
It's like all I know how to do.
This is very relatable to us because Chris, like, I think is inherently smarter than I am.
Okay.
Like, especially book smart. Chris was the valedictorian of our, like, he was 2 years older than me in high school.
Oh, you know each other from high school?
We're cousins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And we live together.
And we live together. It's a whole
great.
thing.
Yeah.
And Chris was the valedictorian of his class.
Congrats.
Went to BC.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a good school.
Somehow have a master's degree.
Uh-huh.
Don't know how we got there.
Sure.
And like we're just like
What's your master's degree in?
Interactive and digital media.
Okay.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I didn't even have a guess.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I don't even know what the words mean.
Yeah. No. Well, I think that's a theme.
Yeah.
In like jobs generally. Like every word it's like systems analyst.
Exactly.
I spearheaded an effort to catapult.
Buzzwords.
Yeah. It's like what?
Yeah.
I feel like it all just means I went to work.
Exactly.
That's it.
It's like the way you say like, oh, like trash receptacle retriever. It's like you were camp counselor.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just stupid stuff.
John, why don't you tell Liz what she's playing for?
Oh,
today?
right.
Great.
Sorry. There is a prize for every guest that comes on the podcast. They're all different.
Okay.
So
there's a catch.
Is it $900 so I can adopt my daughter?
I know if I knew beforehand, I would have taken out some money.
Kidding.
But Liz, congratulations on the chance to win a camouflage hat.
Oh, I love it.
For literally no reason at all.
Yeah.
You're playing for this hat.
Good.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
If you win the game, you get the hat.
Yeah.
If you lose the game,
Yeah.
you have to sign the hat.
Oh.
And the next person who plays the game is going to be playing for a Liz Glazer signed camouflage hat.
Okay. If I win it, can I not take it and give the signed hat?
Yes, you
Good.
can also
Great.
do that. You could
Great.
choose. You could choose to defer the hat.
Can I tell you though, the reason why is because I love winning, but I don't like stuff.
Okay.
Which, everybody, Marie Kondo.
Yes.
Although Marie Kondo, did you hear, went back on her thing?
No.
Because now she has
changed her
kids
method?
and she's like, never mind. Which brings me, like, if you have kids, you're on Hoarders. Like the entire Hoarders show is just have a kid.
My mom, our Christmas decorations are all different things made out of our hands, my sister and I. And they've just existed made out of paper forever.
Totally.
And she just has them.
Yeah,
and
I
you
get
won't
it.
get rid of them.
No, it's just there's so much stuff. So, but also, anyway, but I don't mean to like diss the gift.
No, you're
appreciate
fine.
it.
I just threw it on the ground.
No, totally. I'm going to use it as a credit. I'm going to put it on my resume.
You should.
that I
Signed
won.
camouflage
Yeah.
hat.
Totally. Okay.
So the first game here is called You Be the Judge.
Court dismissed. Bring in the dancing lobsters.
You Be the Judge is brought to you by Save the Date. Have a wedding coming up, but your bitch cousin Denise also has a wedding coming up? Well, save the
Do
date
you guys
as
have
you.
a cousin Denise?
No.
Okay.
But Save the Date has you covered. For $26.95, we'll bug your cousin's phone and make sure they can't make any outgoing calls to venues. Use promo code NOTE for 25% off your next purchase.
Oh, that's good. I love 25% off.
Yeah, we like to give it a good discount.
Yeah.
So
totally.
this game, we have played this with other guests, but we thought it would be particularly appropriate for you.
Good, because
as
I'm lawyer
law.
judge.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
It's actually, you'll probably have been somewhat used to this. We're just going to read you the description of a couple court cases, and you need to guess how they were decided.
Okay.
I think it'll be a lot of fun. We try to do not so like by the book. They're pretty obscure court cases.
Great.
Well,
I think you'll
to
like
us.
it. To us at least.
Sure.
Yeah, they might be
I mean, I probably won't know them anyway. Even
Well.
if I should. I won't. I
Yeah,
won't.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for question number 1?
Yeah.
Let's get into the game. All right. A certain John Angus Smith traveled from Tennessee to Florida to buy cocaine, planning to return to Tennessee and resell at a profit. While in Florida, Smith made an offer to someone who was, unbeknownst to him, an undercover cop.
Oh.
The offer was that Smith would trade his MAC-10 submachine gun for 2 ounces of cocaine. By the time this case reached the Supreme Court, it was already decided that Smith was guilty of drug trafficking. The question was whether he would get extra jail time, potentially another 30 years, because he, in the words of the relevant law, quote, during and in relation to any crime of violence or drug trafficking, used or carried a firearm. The operative question was, did Smith's offer to trade the gun for drugs mean that he, quote, used a firearm in relation to a drug trafficking crime? Smith's argument was that the phrase use a firearm in law means use it as a weapon. Did he get extra jail time for using it as a firearm?
Yes.
He absolutely did. Right off the bat.
Here's why.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all of that stuff is just racism.
Okay.
And so I don't know if this guy was black or white, but I feel like from a racist standpoint, it's like the racist judges are like, what do we think was going on in this environment? And are black people more likely to engage in that than white people?
That's really
and that
interesting.
was how I made that choice.
Well, that's
about likelihood.
Well, that's fair because the actual explanation, which as you said
and
it,
white people like shoot up whatever.
right?
Yeah.
And it was a submachine gun, which is like also a crazy type of gun for them to be
Oh,
having in like,
sure.
like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was the whole thing was like using a firearm was definitely in the case because even though it wasn't the like comes to mind
Yeah.
what you think when you say use a firearm, it was
Right.
still like in use.
Yeah.
To them.
Well, it's like using money.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I get it. Yeah.
So
Okay.
right
But
off the
I
bat,
just wanted to tell you why
Yeah.
we
made
appreciate
the
that.
choice.
We want the thought process.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
So that was awesome because
Okay.
a lot of people just say yes or no, and we
Oh.
don't really get much of an explanation.
Oh,
so
sure,
it's
sure,
cool
sure.
to like hear your
Yeah,
explanation.
happy
for
to
this.
give the reasoning.
Okay, so that was your first one.
One
Well, the
for one.
reasoning is also the most important part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
why we
Meanwhile,
have.
now I'm going to get something wrong.
No, I think you're gonna get this one right.
Uh-huh.
Chris,
Okay,
you want to go?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Carbolic smoke balls were a quack drug remedy for the influenza epidemic of the 1980s. So confident were the Carbolic Smoke Ball Company in the quality of their product that they offered a £100 reward to anyone who used a Carbolic Smoke Ball regularly.
Is this in London?
Yes,
Yeah.
this is
Okay.
in England.
And subsequently got the flu. And it's worth bearing in mind that 100 pounds in 1981 is the equivalent to 1,150 pounds in today's money.
Okay.
Mrs.
Which I'm like, I still have no idea. I think it's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Mrs. Carlill used the Carbolic Smoke Ball religiously and came down with the flu all the same. The Carbolic Smoke Ball Company had said in their advertisements, £100 reward will be paid by the Carbolic Smoke Ball Company to any person who contracts the increasing epidemic influenza colds or any disease caused by taking cold after having used the ball 3 times daily for 2 weeks, and also added, quote, £1,000 is deposited with the Alliance Bank, Regent Street, showing our sincerity in the matter. But when Mrs. Carlill requested her money, they refused to pay up. Did the court say that the Carbolic Smoke Ball Company had to pay Mrs. Carlill her money?
Okay. So,
Yeah, talk me through what you're thinking.
yeah. Okay. I mean, and the thing is, I'm always just thinking like, which is the way I think to think through these. It's like, what are the implications if we say that this person's right for like policy and the rest
Sure.
of society? And so do we want to create an environment like on the one hand, it's like we want companies, if they're making an advertisement that they're going to make good on a promise, we want them
Right.
to be held to that.
Yes.
But in this instance, so can I just ask a couple of questions?
Yeah, of course.
If I know the answer,
yeah.
I'll answer.
No, just because like and this may be on me that I just was following.
There were a lot of sentences.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could go back for it.
No. So they said do this 3 times and she did it.
Right.
But her kind of immune system may be different from other people's. And so the fact that she contracted it, but what was their promise? Can you read that back to me?
Yeah, they said if you took the
Yeah.
carbolic smoke ball
Right.
3 times a day for
2 weeks.
2 weeks and came down with the flu, they would pay you £100.
And she just did it.
And she did this and then came down with the flu.
Yeah.
Huh. What was their argument that they shouldn't pay?
They just refused to do it, according to what we have found.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their specific argument
basically,
was.
I think like they were saying that it was all a joke.
Oh. Okay, I'm going to go with that they didn't make them pay.
So they did.
Oh,
the
okay.
court had entered.
Well, that's better.
The court ruled that
Shout out, Mrs.
they had
Carlo.
entered into a valid contract with Mrs.
Okay.
Carlill and ordered them to hand over the money.
All right. Okay.
So nice to take down the quack drug remedy company.
yeah.
Carbolic smoke balls.
I can't imagine
Yeah.
that they lasted too long.
Yeah. Sounds right. Okay, good.
All right, John, why don't you go to number 3?
All right.
And Liz, just a reminder to use the guest book to take notes whenever you.
And don't ask us fucking questions
No.
after.
Just
no,
I'll
you're
let
right.
you know.
You're right.
We'll
you're
always go back for you. Don't
right.
worry.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right,
Yeah.
ready?
Okay.
Number 3.
Uh-huh.
In 2007, a federal district court convicted Salman Cade Abulwala in part for unlawfully, knowingly, and intentionally using a telephone in committing, causing, and facilitating the distribution of cocaine. Mr. Abulwala appealed, arguing that Section 84.3b does not apply because he purchased cocaine for personal use, which is not a felony. The United States Court of Appeals in the Fourth Circuit affirmed the conviction of Mr. Abulwala.
Right.
It reasoned that Mr. Abulwala his use of a cell phone facilitated cocaine distribution because his telephone call made the distribution of cocaine, quote, easier
Sure.
for his dealer, which is a
Okay.
felony.
Okay.
Thus, Section 84.3b properly applies. He would appeal the decision and take it to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
How did the Supreme Court rule? Does the use of a telephone to buy cocaine for personal use, quote, facilitate the commission of a felony?
Yes.
Actually, no.
Okay.
With Justice Dave H. Souter writing for a unanimous Supreme Court, it held
Suitor.
that
Okay.
Suitor. Yeah, sorry.
No.
That's
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
do not apologize. I'm learning.
what
It
I
held that using a telephone to make a misdemeanor drug purchase does not facilitate felony drug distribution. The court concentrated on the plain meaning of the statute in order to reach its conclusion.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of felt like he should definitely get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
just from a layman who didn't understand what the name of the Supreme Court justice was.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, to me, it seems, I guess, like, maybe because, like, the reason for the rules about it being facilitated are, like, that we're going to have major, I don't know, more drug deals happening. Whereas,
Maybe.
like, this is, like, calling for Chinese food.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. I don't know.
When I first read it and I was looking into some other stuff about it, like my first instinct was that he might have used like a public payphone.
Oh.
And I thought that would have had some sort of further implication in the matter because like it's the use of public property in
Sure.
order to facilitate
Yeah.
drugs. But then they were like, no, it's a cell phone.
Okay.
I was like, that makes it feel like it's definitely his fault and like
Yeah.
he should just be in trouble regardless. But
Right.
Who knows?
But like whether it would have happened more or less easily without the phone.
Right.
I guess
Exactly.
is the question. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got one
Alright.
more for you here, a fun one.
Yeah. All right.
This is my favorite one on the
Not that
list.
the others
Really?
weren't fun.
Yeah.
Budweiser wasn't the first company to use gorgeous and flirtatious women in their ad campaigns, nor were they the last. After all, sex sells, especially for the beer-guzzling American man. What they may not have planned for, however, was just how convincing their advertising tactics truly were. Sad, lonely Richard Overton filed a lawsuit against Anheuser-Busch in 1991 because despite consuming more and more of their beer in order to lure the attractive women in their ads, the
This
lager
guy lost.
the lager
This guy
failed
lost.
to make his fantasies of having beautiful
Okay.
women fawn over him In reality, Overton sued Anheuser-Busch for $10,000,
No.
claiming to have suffered emotional distress.
No.
Okay,
no.
you are correct.
Yeah, you have to get through the end of that.
I feel like when I hear about these cases, it's always like, and he sued for $10 million.
Right.
Like, what, 10,000? I'm like,
Yeah.
Feels reasonable.
Yeah.
All right, so Liz, you got through game one.
Yeah.
You got
2 and 2.
Yeah, you did well.
Okay, and the theme that I noticed, am I supposed to
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you?
yes, yeah, absolutely.
Well, just like truth and lies in advertising seems to be a theme.
Okay.
Okay, that's not it because I can read you.
no, we
Oh.
not till the end will we
All right,
see
okay.
if we
Well,
can put
Yeah,
it all
the
together.
end we're gonna help you. Like we'll figure out what
Okay.
you think.
Well, that's what I have so far.
Okay.
Truth and
all right.
lies in advertising.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would like to
John Hamm.
Again,
Okay.
podcast ends. It's over. No, but go ahead, Chris.
Oh, so my question was when we
Yeah.
were reading about you, you were a lawyer and then you were a tenured law professor,
Yeah.
which seems to me could be like a cushy job.
Yeah,
To
in a
lea-
way.
to leave that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, from a security and money standpoint, yes. Yeah. And also like an hours standpoint in law. Like you
Yeah.
don't have like a partner screaming at you
Yeah.
Right.
type. Not that, I mean, I didn't really have exactly that in my job. Well, I just mean like stereotypically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you're not like made to be at work super late because a deal's closing.
Yep.
Right.
In academia.
You're just grading tests.
Grading, and then there's writing.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with professors, it's like don't even try and tell a professor that they have summers off, that their job is easy. They're always like the first to be like, oh, it's so much harder. I work so much more than I did in practice. But like it is, I think, inherently more independent and entrepreneurial, creative, whatever. So, I think like in anything that
Yeah.
comes with like you're always at work in your head
Yep.
versus
Sure.
in real life.
So what I wanted to ask though, so why did you leave, or was there a strong incentive for you to leave the law and go into comedy?
Yeah, I mean, the strong incentive was really self-driven and nothing more than that. I did it and I loved it and I knew that I wanted to do it
Right.
like only. And in terms of incentive, about 11 months after I had that thought based on doing it, basically, I did get a buyout from my job. And
Okay.
so it was kind of like I knew that that's what I wanted. And then I don't know. It was sort of like the buyout was not any huge amount of money that I never would have to work again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would have been enough to adopt my daughter, but like not, it wasn't like huge amounts
Yeah.
of money. But it was enough that I was like, okay, I think this is a good sign to go for it kind of thing.
When you were teaching, when you were professing,
Yeah.
was there like a moment, like in a class or in a lecture, where
Yeah.
you were like, I like this, but I just feel like I was better off. I'm better off
You
on
have to take your
stage.
birth control.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You knew it. You had
Uh-huh.
it better than me.
Yeah.
But it was that that moment where you were like, "This. It's clear. I like this, but this isn't my dream."
I think that moment for me happened when I did stand up.
Mhm.
It wasn't really before then. Because I think and I think this is like more about me than any of the things that I've done. But when I was straight, I was never straight, but I dated a guy in college. And then I kissed Marissa. And when I kissed Marissa, I was like, okay, well, this is like what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then I broke up with him pretty much because I was like, oh, I thought that I don't know, I could kind of do us, and we had problems also. We fought a lot and whatever. But it was also I kind of knew I was gay. And I don't know that I ever knew I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but I think I knew that I liked performing, being at the front of the room, talking, chatting. I mean, when I first started teaching, I would talk a lot about myself in the material.
Right.
And I remember this was when I first started teaching outside I came outside of class and like one of my 100-year-old colleagues who I was deathly afraid of because they had the power to like vote or not vote for my tenure.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, what are you doing in there? It sounds like a comedy club. And I was horrified because I'm like, they're not going to take me seriously. They're going to fire me. They're not going to give me tenure. And now I think back, I'm like, what was I saying in those classes? Like, I wish I was taping my sets.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
Because I was like talking about property and getting laughs that he heard outside. I mean, come on. But like, you know, I didn't know from wanting to do anything different until I did it.
Sure.
But I think that in that moment, that's when I was like, oh, this is what it can be.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
what really an aligned existence, I guess, can feel like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And I think like the interesting element to that too is like there's always that feeling of comedy where when you're on stage, some element of it comes naturally to a comedian.
Right.
Like the making somebody laugh.
Yeah.
But like it's so interesting to hear that it comes from, for in your sake, in that situation, such mundane stuff, like to turn law into.
I wasn't like making jokes, I don't think, about like the law. It was
No,
more like
okay.
analogy. Like
Right.
I remember that, okay, so in property law, there's something called the estates and land system. And it still exists. And it's basically like, you know, if you were to buy this building and you were to read the contract to buy the building, all of the words would be like hundreds of years old type of words because the land existed before we did.
Right.
And whenever you're giving someone land, you want to make sure that the thing that you're giving is the thing that this person owned. And because that preceded, you use the very old words in order to go back to the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And so anyway, so it's like this whole system, it doesn't make intuitive sense. It's literally from fiefdom, okay? Literally. And it's a system. And you have to learn it when you're learning property law in first year of law school. And everybody learns it.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I was like, and it's like this menu, and you can't order not off the menu. That's kind of the thing. And then you tell everybody, listen, and they're all like, why do we have to learn these stupid words? And it's like, because, basically. And it's like, that's not a great answer, but that is the reason because of what I said about, you know, the land precedes us and all the rest of it. And so I was saying, you know, it's like, you can't be my dad at a diner. Okay. So my dad was of Latvian descent. And he didn't like to read a menu. He just he was always like annoyed, like started out stressed kind of personality. So he sat down in a restaurant. He's like, give me grilled chicken. Like as though they were already in a fight. Okay. The waiter. And so anyway, and the, you know, whoever the server is always like, I'm sorry, sir. Like this is a Chinese restaurant. We don't have chicken, whatever. And so I would talk about that. I'm like, you can't be my dad when you're giving someone a property interest. You have to look at the menu, see what the thing is, and order from the menu that exists. And so I would do stuff like that, you know, say stories like that just to like, I don't know, it was more fun for me, wake them up, whatever. And, you know, I got like good feedback about it. You know, another one was I would start property class and I was like, hey, before we start, I was just in the parking lot. And, you know, I worked on Long Island, so it was like parking was horrific.
Yeah.
And anyway, and I'm signaling, and then somebody, maybe it was one of you, you know, just pulls into my spot. And was I wrong that I was signaling? And then one of the people, maybe you, gets into the spot. And then they're all like, well, I don't know. I mean, you signaled. And so we have this whole debate. And really, it's all a metaphor
goes back to class.
about who's first. Because when you start property class, a big case is this Fox case. It's called Pearson against Post. And it's from literally 1700 something. And it's basically like one guy is hunting a fox. And then there's also like, was he really hunting a fox? Because I guess foxes used to be like rats. And so who would even want it? But anyway, whatever. So it's like there's a lot of lore around the case. But it was basically about what matters. Is it the person who started the chase first or the person who nailed the fox?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's, you know, but the thing is they don't even think that they're doing property law yet. Meanwhile, we're like right in it.
That's so interesting.
And so, yeah, and I got that from like some other guy at a conference. He said he did that. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. I'm going to, you know, because it's like, I mean, in that case, I mean, it's not like with teaching, it's not steal. It's not like
No.
this is this guy's thing, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's listening to the podcast. He's like, she stole it.
Son of a bitch.
Right. But it really was effective in
Yeah.
terms of like getting them engaged, because that's the thing. You know, I remember, first of all, I got a C in property when I was in law school, and then I taught it for 9 years.
Crazy.
You know, so and I like to think though that that's what made me better. It's
Yeah.
kind of I failed like 3 parking tests from parallel parking. Can I tell you, I am the best parallel. I would enter a competition for parallel parking because I failed 3 times and because I had to like really
Yeah, you had
think
to
about like
expertise
getting
it.
good at it. So anyway, but it's true that I got a C, and it was a super boring class. You know, like the material's super dry. I had a boring professor, no offense. And
Call him out by name. To say it.
he's like so old. So
Friend
anyway,
of the podcast.
friend of the show. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, and I didn't say his name. If you want, I'll say his name. You can bleep it out.
That's okay.
No,
You want it? Okay,
no,
fine.
it's more work for
But
us.
Yeah.
okay. So anyway, so I didn't want to be boring, but then
Uh-huh.
once I was too interesting, then I was like, oh, I should be boring because I want to be taken seriously. You know that.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
worst?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. But then I did comedy, and the thing is, like, a lot of people say, you know, oh, it's the laughs that were like addictive. And I'm not saying I don't love the laughs, but for me, I think it was just the ability to like be just me. Like I don't
Yeah.
have to
unapologetically.
Yeah, like I don't have to like have a thing. And you know, I struggled at the beginning because I was like, I don't want material. I just want to talk. That's the only thing I ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I say at the beginning, I still struggle with that to a degree. Because if I really like just want to have fun, I just want to have fun
Yeah.
on stage. And when I have material, it makes me feel like, oh, you know, I feel like I'm like there's a test and I have to cover this.
I
Yeah.
so feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right
I
there with
hate
you.
it. But I, you know, I mean, the thing is, you got to then get into it as though it's, you know, because there were days that I was like, oh, I'm excited to teach this thing, you
Right.
know, and I think that that's like kind of probably the best place to be,
Mm.
you know. Oh,
Well-
you want, yeah,
On a related note,
yeah,
Nice.
I think we're going to jump to the second game.
great,
And this one's going to focus a bit more on comedy.
okay,
This is a game we're trying for the first time. It is called Order Up.
Order Up is brought to you by Stank. Do you smell like garbage? Well,
do.
look no further. Stank is the first anti-deodorizer. Sabotage the people around you by
Yeah.
throwing some stank in their laundry. It immediately makes you smell better by making them smell worse.
Ah.
Use promo code RELATED to get 10% off your first bulk order at www.stank.net.
oh, well, you should get more than 10%.
They're cheap, these guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, well,
So this is, I said, the first time we're playing this. So if it goes horribly wrong, you
no,
can
I think it's
complain
gonna be
to
great.
me, I guess.
Right. I'll take it up with Stank.
So
Yeah, good.
in this
Read a
game,
review.
you're going to be competing with John to
Okay.
put 5 things in order, one at a time, without knowing what is coming next.
Okay,
For example, imagine you had to put a list of sodas in alphabetical order. I tell you the first soda is Coke. You're going to want to put that near the top of the list alphabetically, but probably not first, just in case Birch Beer comes up
right,
later.
okay, got it.
The winner is whoever gets more in the correct position.
But I don't know what the order of it is about.
I'm going to tell you what.
Oh, you are.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you're just like I said before.
Yeah.
I could give, if we were alphabetizing sodas.
Yeah.
If I gave you Fanta or
Middle.
middle.
Right.
Because
Got it.
you want to keep some room at the top.
Sure. Yeah.
But rather than alphabetizing sodas, you will have to put SNL cast members in order based on how many years they were on the show.
Got it.
The cast member with the longest tenure should be ranked first.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen this list at all, so I
Okay.
don't know what this is.
Great.
We're going against each other.
Yeah.
All right, are you both ready?
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
And you'll both tell us where you're putting each.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's only
Oh,
5.
As we do
as
it.
we go
Yeah.
to keep it interesting for the listeners.
Uh-huh.
Number 1, Maya Rudolph.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's long.
Yeah, she's definitely
But
on
probably
that
not the longest. So I'm going to put her at 2 for now.
I was sort of thinking the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
My thought process being like there has to be there's way more SNL cast members that were on longer than her than less than. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I should say that we'll do this like we do some other games where You'll both put it down, and
then after
one of
we'll
you will,
discuss?
one of you
All
will
right,
share.
all
So
right,
you'll tell us
sounds
your
good.
thought process after.
Okay.
But you can't move them once they're
No.
Right. We both have Maya Rudolph at 2 right now.
So unless
That's it.
before I say the next one, do you want to move Maya?
I'll move her to 3.
I'm keeping her at 2.
Got it.
Okay. Number 2, Dana Carvey. Dana Carvey, legend.
Yeah, I'm gonna put.
Wait, don't say it yet.
Yeah. So you both rank, and then, because Liz said hers first last time, John, you can say yours first this time.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay. All right. I put him at 3. My feeling was that I think he was on there less than Maya Rudolph, but I feel like he was on there for so much of the 90s and into the early 2000s before like the Dana Carvey show that he's not 1 because I don't think he's more than Maya Rudolph, but he's also not like super low.
What are you thinking, Liz?
I have him at 2.
Okay.
All right, nice.
Number 3, Martin Short. The thing that I learned as you guys do this, while I was looking at a list of everyone that's on SNL, there have been so many people who are on SNL for like 35 seconds and then they go on to be really famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the number one like most referenced one of that is like Robert Downey Jr. was on it for like 3 episodes as a cast member.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, his dad was famous, right?
Yeah.
Robert Downey Sr.
Okay.
I'd like to imagine that's his dad's name, Chris.
All right, so Liz, where did you put Martin Short?
4.
Okay. John?
Yeah, I think his is like strangely short.
Okay.
Like I think people think of him being on there longer, but I feel like something happened. I think there was like almost like maybe a writer's strike even that like took him off the show or something.
interesting.
So I'm gonna put him at 5.
Okay. Number 4, Chevy Chase.
Oh, that.
You sound angry.
Because like I feel like
John, you'll be the first to share here.
yeah, I'm gonna put him at 1. I don't know. I feel like just by name like he was the original
I
cast.
put him also there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I feel like he's got to be top of the list.
Yeah, I mean, I was holding out for Keenan, as I imagine you were.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, and then also holding 5 for like someone we know.
Yeah.
So,
Like personally?
number 5 here, and this is the last one. So it's just gonna be put whatever you have open is Tina Fey.
Crap. That's definitely 1, I think.
So where did Tina Fey end up for you, Liz?
5.
Okay.
Mine's 4. Can't be good.
All right, I'm gonna read you the true order and just give yourself a check if you got it in the right spot.
Okay.
Number 1, Maya Rudolph, 9 years. Number 2, Dana Carvey,
Got it.
7 years.
Nice.
Number 3, Tina Fey, 6 years. Number 4, Chevy Chase, 2 years. And number 5, Martin Short, 1 year.
I got 1.
Same.
You both got 1?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a tiebreaker.
Okay.
The tiebreaker is of those 5, and I'll read them for you again if you want. Who is the oldest?
Like living right now, who is the oldest?
They're all alive.
No. Oh yeah, duh. Sorry.
But you mean
But, like,
the
who is
oldest
the
while they were on? Or
No.
the oldest now?
Who is
like
right
actively
now?
oldest?
Who is the active oldest? And
Okay.
just to read
I
them
have my
again:
answer.
Maya Rudolph, Dana Carvey, Martin Short, Chevy Chase, Tina Fey. Write your answer down again. So,
Sure.
all right, John, why don't you tell us?
I mean, I gotta go with Chevy Chase. It's him or Martin Short.
Right. I put Martin Short.
It is Chevy Chase.
Wow.
All right.
So John,
Okay.
so John, you win.
All right. What do I
very,
win?
Very
Congratulations,
nothing.
John.
I'll sign the hat. Then it'll be a 2-person sign
If you
hat.
were curious, Chevy Chase is 79, Martin
Oh.
Short is 73.
Oh.
The youngest of those 5 is Maya Rudolph, who is 50.
Oh.
Yeah, like I just it had to be Martin Short or Chevy Chase as the oldest.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been the other way.
I was
Right.
also surprised that Chevy Chase was also only on SNL for 2 years.
I thought he was on forever.
But I think he got really famous and then just.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was like the whole thing why Bill Murray called him a hack.
Really?
Yeah, he called him a talentless hack, and they got in a huge fight backstage
Why though?
because he like left instead of staying on the show because Bill Murray said that SNL was the truest form of comedy,
Okay.
and then obviously Bill Murray ended up doing movies anyway.
Yeah.
But like,
Wow.
yeah.
Huh. Okay.
So,
There's your little
I love
your
it.
2 cents about SNL.
Yeah.
So, bless you.
Sorry. I only sneeze in private.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Actually, we were listening to your album.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And you make a I hope I'm not thinking
Oh,
of something
about
else.
coughing?
You make a joke about coughing with
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, I do.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So when you were recording the album,
Yeah.
I think, and you also make a joke that, your daughter was stillborn and you were
Yeah.
supposed to record an album,
Yeah.
and that got canceled,
Yeah.
and you were like,
Which is the real
the
tragedy.
real tragedy.
Yeah.
How did you end up coming back around to recording a further album? Because obviously that would have
Yeah.
happened first, the other one.
Yeah, I mean, so, and I think like I kind of put this all on it, which is just like I knew that I needed to process, and I don't mean like, and I'm done, because I don't
Yeah.
think that's how grief works, but like I knew that I needed to make something from the feelings. And also I knew that the 1 year anniversary was going to happen. And so I was like, okay, that's a good way to have a goal about that day, is to like put this stuff together for that day. And so that was really the entirety of the process. Like I wanted to make something positive of it.
I know, obviously, like,
Yeah.
a big familial aspect of it.
Yeah.
And your wife obviously just having a baby. How does
Yeah.
she feel? How has she felt about kind of you processing the last year through comedy? Obviously,
Yeah.
as a supporter and somebody who you love, but also
Yeah.
as
Well,
your
I
significant
think
other.
if the nature of my comedy were different, she might feel differently. But I think like, well, first of all, she's a rabbi and like did her Yom Kippur sermon about the experience as well. So I think like what helps is that she's not a comedian, because I think that brings its own whatever. I've never
Sure.
dated a comedian, but like I've heard from
It
people,
can
and I
be
can
good.
imagine
Yeah.
that like that's challenging. But apart from that, she gets the processing hard things through work and art,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, I mean, she was into it.
That's so interesting that,
Yeah.
I guess it's a good portion of being a rabbi or
Yeah.
anybody who has to run a service of that sort. There is
Yeah.
a performance element to
Yeah,
it.
totally.
It's-
Well, and I don't think they're really that different, because ultimately it's like the audience is maybe coming for a different reason, right? You're
Uh-huh.
coming to be inspired, in comedy, no, in like in synagogue or church or whatever.
Sure.
And so, so in that sense, it's like you're not coming for like jokes, whereas a comedy audience is coming for jokes.
Mhm.
I think for my album, I had a sort of mixed audience because everybody knew why they were there.
A lot of family and friends, right?
Yeah. And so it was like they wanted to come together. They wanted to like experience the memorial like with us and stuff like that.
Sure.
So, yeah. So in that sense, it was a little different. But I think because I was honoring our daughter's memory, I wanted to make sure that the kind of comedy that was on the album was like specific,
Mhm.
and also that I was saying something.
Right.
And so like the thing I'm most proud of from the album is that I was able to take all the stuff and really like show why the experience was the experience for me of that kind of grief.
Yeah.
And also to say something about love and worry and fear.
Yeah.
So I was, happy.
And
with
that was actually, while I was listening to it, I was sort of having like a meta thought process where I was like, what is comedy? Because you're certainly telling jokes throughout it, but it's not like,
Right.
set up punchline the whole time. It's like,
Right.
Right.
And I feel like over the last couple of years, we've seen more and more comedians sort of grapple with that, but it still begs the question about like, what is, like I would listen to that and I'd be like, oh, that was a comedy album.
Right.
But still, it's like, where is the line between comedy and not comedy?
I mean, I think it's an interesting question. And, I mean, for this album, for me, I kind of like leaned into something that I do naturally, which is get distracted. And so I think like, what you'll see on the album is like me making a point, but then saying like, here's a tangent and let me do bits about every single person who's in the room and whatever.
Right.
And yeah, so in that sense, I think some of the more classic like setup punchline situations on my album specifically come from that. And I also wanted to say something. I wanted to like say something about stillbirth and pregnancy loss and, you know, loss in general. And I also didn't want all of that to be just set up.
Right.
You
And
know?
I think like obviously being a New York City comedian, a lot
Yeah.
of like what we run into as a problem with like a booker every now and again, not so much like when you move past a certain point in your career, but especially in the beginning is
Yeah.
like you need 5 minutes and
Yeah.
you have to laugh every 5 seconds of
Yeah.
that 5 minutes. Like
Right.
it's set up in punchline and set up in punchline.
Right.
When do you feel like you got to that point in your career, especially with this album coming out and the structure in which we're talking about, that you're
Yeah.
like, you're sort of like, fuck the norm. I'm going with what I think is funny. Like, I'm writing the way I want to write. And I'm
I
pulling
mean,
from my
losing
life.
a kid. That's what happened. You know, it was just like, I wasn't thinking about, I mean, I guess a couple things. Like, the experience itself was so jarring that I was like, I just have to make the thing that feels appropriately responsive to this thing in my life. And thankfully, I had achieved some of the stuff that like I had as like a goal that I wasn't sure would happen in comedy before the album was even recorded. And so I was just like, okay, so that happened. I don't have to worry about it. Or in terms of like how it feels for my stability as a comedian. But then the other thing was I got introduced to Tig Notaro
She
through,
rocks.
yeah, she's amazing, through Liv, her, which I think is how you say, like, I think some people say live, but I think it's Liv, which is her 27-minute set about having cancer.
Yes. Yeah.
And she says on that album, or on that recording, which was not intentionally, to my knowledge, an album, that it's different from her regular comedy. But she just got this diagnosis, and this is like what's coming, and this is what she's going to talk about. And I didn't know her until I heard that. And that is the comedy album that I listen to the most of any comedy album. And I'm not a huge comedy album person. So when I was thinking about, like, you know, if I do a set at a club, like, it's likely going to be very different from my album.
Right.
And I was fine with that because I was like, okay, well, she's really different. I've come to understand that she's really different from that recording. And I think I like her more because I met her on that recording. And so,
That's so cool.
if someone, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I hope something more traditional, not because I care as much about like the kind of, I want to do something that meets requirements
Like
of
the
comedy.
industry perspective.
Yeah, but I don't want to be dealing with tragedy and making art from
Certainly.
tragedy for the rest of my life, because I'd rather, I mean, it's part of life, but like
Yeah,
I
of
don't want that, you know?
I mean, I think that's so interesting, and that's like, it's such a powerful perspective on comedy because
Yeah.
so many people, I think, especially people who don't, are just like comedy appreciators,
Yeah.
like just assume that comedians come from a place of like being depressed and being anxious. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But like they see it as like almost like a drug, whereas there's real grief in it sometimes. And they're like,
Yeah.
and it's cool to me to hear that that's your process of getting through this.
Well, I think, thanks, John. I think it has to do with where I came from, in the sense that like I came from a career that was, and also just a whole life and schooling that was so achievement oriented, that like when I hear comedians who are like they're so strict about what does and doesn't constitute comedy, I'm like, go into law.
Yeah.
Like, just do some other job. Like, become
Totally
an investment
agree.
banker if you're going to be this boring and annoying about the thing
Yeah.
that we're doing, which is really just to reach the full, most authentic level of expressivity of
Exactly.
oneself. You know, so, and I say that because I mean, do I want to be the best comedian? I guess so, but I think that that's a disease rather
Yeah.
than a gift.
I totally agree.
Like the only reason I want to be the best is because of my ego.
100%. Yeah.
And really, if I think about like what got me here, it was the freedom and the, oh my God, I don't have to care about
the honesty. Even.
Yeah, the honesty.
Yeah.
And so if something is coming to me as like, this is the honest thing that I want to say, and I'm going to be like, no, never mind. I have to do, the estates and land system instead. Then
Great
like,
callback.
why did I leave? Thank you.
No,
right?
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I think that there's, like you said, there's such a trap of the people who like to believe they're the authority of comedy.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
by all means, if that's how you want to run your like bar show,
Yeah.
and you won't let me be on it because my
Yeah.
structure doesn't
Sure.
fit like your structure,
Right.
I don't want to be on it in the first place.
No. Yeah. And I think that the other kind of addendum to this conversation is then you have people, like you look at Maria Bamford, who's like so amazing at being honest and also, in incorporating like real grief, tragedy, all of
Sure.
it. But like, oh my God, the punchlines and, you would laugh even if she was just reading it from a piece of paper. And like, isn't that the place to get to? And I think that's, for me, it is, but I guess I would like to lead with like the honesty, the what feels like it has to happen first, and get there.
Absolutely.
I guess.
All right, so let's get into the third game here.
Okay.
Liz. We got two more. We're gonna rip right through 'em,
All right,
right?
great. Yeah.
So this third game is called Before or After, Before and After.
On the wheel, there it is, and here comes our next puzzle, Before and After. Terry, you ready?
Before and After is brought to you by I Forgot the Ad. Ever have a podcast that needs ads, but you forgot to get them? Well, for a flat fee of $14, we'll write ads for you. Don't worry, we guarantee you won't get sued. Use promo code NOTE to get your first episode of ads on us.
Nice.
All right, so Chris, you want to read the description of the game?
So this is sort of like your standard before and after that you'll see on like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune with a twist. We're going to ask you a question with two answers. The catch is the answers are going to link together. For example, if the question was this country music singer won a Grammy for Love Can Build a Bridge and subsequently a big-time comedy producer known for the 40-Year-Old Virgin, the answer would be Naomi Judd Apatow.
Oh. Got
And
it.
answers can also overlap. So if the question was, this comedian
Birth
is
control.
currently the star of Ted Lasso and is the title of one of Seal's greatest hits, the answer would be Jason Sudeikis from A Rose.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
So that's the before and after part.
Right.
The other part is before or after, where you have to identify which came first.
On the set.
So in this last example, you'd have to identify if Jason Sudeikis was born first or Seal's Kiss from a Rose came out first. Sudeikis was born in 1975. Kiss from
Right.
a Rose came out in 1994. So the answer would be Sudeikis.
Got it.
You'd get a point for each. So,
Yep.
John, why don't you
Mm-hmm.
start with the first one?
Okay.
All right, so the first one here is a common religious nickname for Christmas finds a real problem when her boyfriend leaves her to go to Harvard Law. She packs up her pink.
Noel Woods.
The first Noel Woods.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the lock.
So the question here for you is, what was the song The First Noel published first, or was the movie Legally Blonde released first?
The first Noel.
Okay.
Right, there you
Great.
go. You got the point.
They aren't actually even sure when the first Noel was written.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the second one. You're 1 for 1, technically 2 for 2 because you got the before and after and the before and after.
Got it. Okay.
All right,
cool.
this
Yeah.
one hopefully will be a little bit more difficult. A book of poems by Shel Silverstein with a distinct cover image is set to defend Tom Robinson in a major trial in Macomb County, Alabama.
Okay, so To Kill a Mockingbird is
All the meanwhile, he ensures to teach his adventurous child Scout the
Right.
ways of right and wrong.
okay.
So that's your whole clue.
And so the last part is To Kill a Mockingbird, and then
I'll reread it for you.
yeah, the
A
poem
book of poems by Shel Silverstein with a very distinct cover image is set to defend Tom Robinson. So like the person who is set to defend Tom Robinson in a major trial in Macomb County, Alabama. All the meanwhile, he ensures to teach his adventurous child Scout the ways of right and wrong.
Oh, okay, got it. So Huckleberry Finn Is it so? It's the name of the person in the book.
Yes.
And I don't know that person.
You don't know it.
I don't remember that person's name. I mean, as you say it, I'm sure.
So the nice thing is we can give you the first part and you can still get the second part, the before or after.
So we can give it to you if you feel like.
Yeah, give me the name of the guy.
So the name of the guy is Atticus Finch.
Right. Okay. Atticus Finch. Is it something about the attic? The poem book?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's. You want me to just tell you it?
Yeah.
It's A Light in the Attic is Finch.
Oh yeah.
A Light in the Attic.
Great.
Big
Great.
public school library book that we all took out for.
Now
elementary
your
reason.
before or after is what was published first: A Light in the Attic by Shel Silverstein or To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
That is correct. It was
Okay.
published in
Nice,
1960.
you got a point.
Great.
A Light in
great.
the Attic was published in 1981.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So
okay.
you're
3
for 4.
Uh-huh.
Here we go with the next one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Andy Griffith plays a renowned, folksy yet cantankerous defense attorney who is worth every penny of his $100,000 fee until a Bruno Mars hit talks about barring himself out of the pearly gates for love.
Oh, okay. Right. Knocked out of heaven.
Yeah.
Is it Locked Out of Heaven?
Yes.
Okay, got it. And then hold on. And then the Andy Griffith show.
This is the character.
The character in I know you said it. So is it the name of the show?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. It's not the Andy Griffith show?
No.
This was
Andy Griffith plays a
Right,
renowned.
no, I know. Matlock.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Matt Locked Out of Heaven.
There it
Yes.
is.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
and then before is Matlock.
Yes.
Before.
Yeah. Nice.
Matlock started airing in the 80s.
Great.
And Locked Out of Heaven is
Like
Yeah.
2000.
something.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, 2 more.
You're doing great.
So 5 total.
Yes.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
This comedian and host of Family Feud runs into a real problem in Gotham City when he goes from a respected lawyer to a two-faced villain. This really relies on your knowledge of the Marvel Universe.
Oh. It's not Batman.
I sure wish it was.
It's a character in Batman.
Yeah. So do you know the first part, though?
The
The comedian and host of
Family
Family Feud.
Drew Carey.
Currently, comedian and host of Family Feud.
Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Okay. So Steve Harvey Oswald.
You know what?
Close.
Uh,
It is Steve Harvey Dent.
Oh.
Harvey Dent's the lawyer, and Batman becomes Two-Face.
Oh,
The
interesting.
villain, the Two-Faces.
Okay, got it.
So
Yeah.
those are your 2.
So we want to know who is older,
Okay.
Steve Harvey or Aaron Eckert, who played Harvey Dent in the last Batman movies.
I'm just gonna go with Steve Harvey.
You would be correct.
Great.
Good job.
Good.
Steve
Thanks.
Harvey is 66. Aaron Eckert is 55.
Oh. Okay.
Amazing.
So 6 points.
Yeah, you're doing
Yes.
great.
Okay.
Have
good.
you? Are you sensing a theme yet in this game?
There's a lawyer. Oh, Matlock's a lawyer. That guy's a lawyer. Okay. So yeah, Atticus Finch, lawyers.
Okay.
Okay.
And you got one more to go.
All right.
Joe Pesci plays this less than personal injury attorney from Brooklyn, set out to save his cousin from a first-degree murder charge. But the real detriment to society were those stuffed animals from the 90s that people thought would be worth an incredible resale value. Unfortunately, for my college fund, that didn't pay out.
Okay. So the second part is Beanie Babies, and the first part is Marissa Tomei and Joe Pesci and okay, something Beanie? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
was-
You're on the right track.
Okay.
So you're looking for the name of the personal
Movie.
injury attorney
Oh.
in that movie.
Oh my God, I am not gonna know that.
So the movie is My Cousin Vinny.
Right.
So he plays Vincent Gambini.
Oh.
So Vincent Gambini babies.
Okay, got it.
And
That was a good one.
For one more point,
Which is first?
did My Cousin Vinny come out first, or were Beanie Babies sold
Released.
first?
My Cousin Vinny?
It is actually
Huh.
the Beanie Baby.
Oh, interesting.
Slightly predates My Cousin Vinny.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, so that is that game. You said you thought you sensed this theme with
Lawyers.
Okay. We're gonna. I think we'll just go
we'll
into
just
the
run
last
right
game.
into the last game. Let's
Okay.
do it.
Great.
We've this last game is called Starring Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Hillary Clinton.
Great.
Starring Hillary Clinton is brought to you by Are you a busy vegan? Well, want you to live the life you deserve. For $6 a month, we'll send you a perfectly designed meal kit just for you.
I would buy that.
We guarantee every meal takes less than 10 minutes to cook. Use promo code all caps Dalla Riva for 3 months free with your first purchase.
So this is a much simpler game than the last two.
Okay.
You need to identify a movie from a short IMDb-like description. The
Great.
catch: all of the characters' names will be replaced by the names of people not in the movie, and you guessed it, the first woman mentioned in any description will be Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
So I will start with the first one, and there are 5 here. If you get more than 5, we will give you a bonus clue.
Okay. I'm not gonna.
You will.
No, not
Okay.
more than 5, more than 3. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
3 of the
Got it.
5, so a
Okay.
majority.
Got it.
Harry Styles has an uncanny skill at cutting classes and getting away with it. Intending to make one last duck out before graduation, Harry calls in sick, borrows a Ferrari, and embarks on a one-day journey through the streets of Chicago with his girlfriend Hillary Clinton and best friend Ed Sheeran. On Harry's trail is his high school principal determined to catch him in the act.
Oh, okay. So none of the people are real.
Right.
And
they're
it's
all-
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Got
All right,
it.
you're 1 for 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So all of the people are replaced with all the
Okay.
characters are replaced
Yep.
with like
Different.
celebrities that
Got
are
it.
famous now.
Okay. Got it. Mm-hmm.
Would you like to do number 2, John?
Yep, here we go. After his release from prison, Harry Styles reunites with his brother Ed Sheeran. Harry's first take is to save the Chicago orphanage that his brothers grew up in from closing by raising $5,000 to pay back taxes. The two are convinced that they can earn the money by getting their old band back together. However, after playing several gigs and making a few enemies, including the police, the brothers face daunting odds to deliver the money on time.
Twins?
No.
Okay. I don't know this one.
This one's Blues Brothers.
Oh, yeah. I would never have
Yeah.
gotten that.
They're getting the band back together. They're on a mission from God.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if it was a band, if that part was real.
Oh, true. Okay,
Got
yeah.
it.
No, the
Yeah.
whole
Well,
description of the movie is
except
real,
for the
except for
people.
Just the
names.
name.
I still wouldn't have gotten it.
Okay.
Okay,
All
great.
right.
That makes me feel better.
All right. Chris, are you ready?
As America's stock of athletic young men is depleted during World War II, a professional all-female baseball league springs up in the Midwest.
League of Their Own.
Then you have to get through the rest.
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't even have to hear about
Hillary
how
Clinton and
Hillary.
Hillary Clinton and
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So you're 2 for 3. So if you get one more right,
Bonus.
bonus clue.
Uh-huh.
All right. This spoof comedy takes shots at the slew of disaster movies that were released in the 70s. When the passenger and crew of a jet are incapacitated.
Naked Gun.
Don't jump the gun.
Oh.
Are incapacitated due to food poisoning, a road pilot with a drinking problem, Harry Styles, must cooperate with his ex-girlfriend turned stewardess, Hillary Clinton, to bring the plane in safely to a landing
Oh,
in
airplane.
Chicago.
Airplane.
Bang.
Okay, got it.
Congratulations, Liz. You've earned a bonus clue.
Thank you
And
so
we'll just
much,
play the
Sean.
last one for fun, for
Uh-huh.
funsies, Chris.
Yeah.
5 high school students from different walks of life.
Breakfast Club.
There you go.
I do want to read this because I just
yeah.
like the
Oh, yeah.
the name substitutions here. Endure Saturday detention under a power-hungry principal, Harry Styles. The disparate group includes Rebel Ed Sheeran, Princess Hillary Clinton, Outcast JoJo Siwa, Brainy Billy Joel, and Dale Earnhardt
Wow.
Jr., the jock. Each has a chance to tell his or her story, making the others see them a little differently. And when the day ends, the question's whether school will ever be the same.
So you got the Breakfast Club. Congratulations, Liz. That
Thank
means you
you.
get the bonus clue going into what we will end up finding out is
The bonus clue is this:
win.
this person has been nominated for an Emmy in the drama and acting drama and comedy categories.
Oh.
So
Gene Smart.
so versatile. Hold on.
We're going to go
Okay.
through all the games with you.
Okay, got
And
it.
we're going to see if you can figure out who it is.
So
So let's go back to the top.
so we know. So this person has been, as we know from the outset, this is a person. They've been nominated for an Emmy and
In drama and comedy.
drama
yeah,
and comedy.
got it.
First game, you be the judge. What did you think you took away from there?
That it was truth in advertising.
Okay.
Truth
Yeah.
in advertising.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Number 2, order up. This is one of the more straightforward things. It's
SNL.
yeah, SNL
Right.
characters
Okay, yeah.
or SNL cast
Okay,
members.
so an SNL. Okay, got it.
Before or after, before and after, you thought you sensed this theme here.
Lawyers.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And
then
starring Hillary Clinton, I don't know if you sensed any theme between those movies.
Oh, Breakfast Club, League of Their Own, 80s.
Ferris
no.
Bueller's Day
Yeah.
Off,
Brat Pack.
Airplane, and Blues Brothers.
So Blues Brothers is SNL.
Right.
It is.
Okay. Airplane is a comedy. League of Their Own, sort of a comedy. And then
It's we'll give you a little bit of a description of each one that we read
yeah,
to give
yeah.
you a little bit.
Okay, got it.
So going back to the top, Harry Styles has an uncanny skill of cutting classes and
Right,
getting away with
Ferris
it.
Bueller comedy.
Right. Harry calls in sick, borrows a Ferrari, embarks on a one-day journey on the streets of Chicago with his
Uh-huh.
girlfriend Hillary Clinton.
Sure.
After release from prison, Harry Styles reunites with his brother Ed Sheeran, and he takes his first task is to save the Chicago orphanage that his brothers grew up in from
Right.
closing.
Yeah. Oh, Chicago.
Okay,
Okay.
There you
got
go.
it. Got it.
you're in
Okay.
it now.
Got it.
So what we know here is we have
Chicago, SNL, lawyer, truth in advertising.
that's what
That's what
you're
I-
that's what
That's
you're
what you
telling us.
deduced.
And
Okay.
they've won an Emmy, been nominated for an Emmy in
drama and
comedy
comedy.
categories. So
Based on that information, Liz, can you guess who the person is that your
Huh.
episode has been based around?
Wow. So a person who either is like from Chicago or got their start in Chicago.
Okay,
Maybe played a lawyer. Okay.
you're on the right track.
Played a lawyer. Okay, so that's what we got from that. And then the truth in advertising, I feel like I'm on the wrong track for that one because you keep saying like that's what you think.
Yeah,
Um,
correct.
but I mean that was about court cases.
yeah, the other
Um,
thing I will say, the second game,
Uh-huh.
SNL cast members.
Oh, an SNL
They've-
cast member. Okay. But not any of the ones in the list, I'm guessing.
No,
No,
I will.
Right.
We
No,
will
that
tell
would
you.
be- that
Okay,
bad.
so it could be like Chris Farley, but I don't think he was a lawyer. SNL Chicago. So Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, on SNL from Chicago. And then drama, Steve Martin, lawyer.
So we're gonna let you take a guess. Like we said, not everyone wins, and you'll
But
just have to sign the hat if you don't win.
Sure, yeah.
The
I'm
real
fine,
winners,
yeah.
the real winners are the people who got to find out more about Liz Glazer by watching the podcast.
Well, thank you. Like a really famous SNL person who played a lawyer and did drama and comedy. And like was nominated for an Emmy
Yes.
in drama and comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, and it's not Joe. Okay, I'm just gonna say Joe Pesci.
Okay.
Fine.
All
It
right.
is not Joe Pesci.
Okay.
The answer is Bob Odenkirk.
Oh yeah, I was never gonna guess.
Okay, fair enough.
Ever.
He plays the
Sure, Better Call Saul.
yeah,
Saul
Saul
Goodman,
Goodman.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he was what was he in? Mr. Show? Was it
Mr. Show and SNL. He was nominated as a writer on SNL and nominated for Mr. Show as well.
Yeah.
So-
The reason how we came to this was because he plays a lawyer and does comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, I should probably know more about it.
No, it's okay.
This is my sign.
Bob Odenkirk, friend of the podcast, is
Yeah,
definitely going to be
totally.
very upset.
This is my origin moment of like, and then I became obsessed with
Bob
Bob
Odenkirk.
Odenkirk. Started right here.
So you want to tell the people where they can find you?
Yeah, give the Liz Glazer plugs. What do we got to know?
I have moved into Bob Odenkirk's house because I've become that much of a fan. You can find me at my website, Dear Liz Glazer, DearLizGlazer.com, at Liz Glazer on everything. I don't have Twitter anymore because my Twitter got hacked. My Twitter got hacked by someone in Lithuania. I don't know who
That's
it
very
is.
strange.
An ex. No. And my friends were like, do you know that you're posting about crypto like once an hour?
So we were looking at
you
your
really?
Twitter, and I was saying to John, I was like, I guess she's really into crypto.
No. Yeah, no. Anyone who knows me knows I'd only post about it like once a day. No, I would never. I don't know anything about like even regular dollars. But anyway, at Liz Glazer on like TikTok, Instagram, Friendster. MySpace.
And are you performing anywhere soon?
Yeah. I mean, my schedule's a little limited because of maternity, but like,
Yeah.
you know, not that much. I posted on my Instagram.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, most of the time.
Doing any festivals? Anything coming up? Anything like that?
Well, I'm headlining a bunch at Vermont Comedy Club, Dry Heat Comedy Club, and then Duck Duck Goofs, which is in Boston.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So those are coming up. But
Sweet.
yeah.
And thank you for playing.
Thank you.
You can find us at On a Related Note Pod on
All platforms?
most platforms.
Yeah.
But we will see you next time.
Thanks.
See ya.
On a related note, this is a song that we wrote. Now let's get to the podcast.